well, rather Tiffany will go through some of the events that we have coming up, and we'll use this time to go through that. And then what we'll do is we have a fun panel today. The state of the company is always going to be either a panel or kind of talking about market stats, things of that nature. And but we figured with Mega Camp last week, we can use this opportunity to get an idea as to what's the state of our Keller Williams umbrella and what are some of the things that are going on that can really help us drive business at a local level. And what better way to do that than ask for ahas from a great panel that dialed into Mega Camp last week. So Karen and I will ask some questions of, I think Josh is getting on, but Josh Stamps, Weston Nelson, Jessica Lucas, Manny Casanova, and Jackie S. So excited for that, and thank you guys for participating. Yeah, there's Josh. So without further ado, Tiffany Davis, tell us what's coming up.
All right, so I just got 3 big announcements for you, so I'm not gonna hound you on loads of information. The first is the Mega Camp Mastermind that's going to be happening next week on Wednesday at the 30th at 1 p.m. So we're gonna be taking snippets from here and masterminding on it at a deeper and higher level. So make sure you mark that on your calendar for Wednesday at 1 p.m. The second important thing you'll be receiving emails about over the next couple of days is Ignite 2.0 is starting on October 5th, which is not this coming Monday, but the next Monday. And so this is going to be even bigger than you've ever seen Ignite before. We're going to have new teachers from across the region. We're going to have additional students from across the region. And so you're not going to just be sitting in a room with 1 or 2 people anymore. It's going to be bigger and better. So there's opportunity for teachers. So you saw my email the other day. You can reply back and actually answer me. John Crompton, looking at you. And then if we need students as well. So if you'd like to attend, it's for all abilities, right? So new agents that have been here for a while. If you're not hitting your goals, you probably should go to an Ignite course to fill that gap. So be on the lookout for more information there. Also, we have the Business Planning Clinic coming October 7th and 8th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Yes, it's in your lead gen time, but Joseph Klosik is hopefully going to make it worth it. If not, we know where his office is and I can let you tell it to him there. So he's going to be leading that not only for us, but for a lot of people in the region. And so mark your calendars for the 7th and 8th. You'll be receiving more information with Zoom links and how to register and all that jazz. But a lot of big stuff over the next 2 weeks. And the teacher's all right too for business planning. It's the best.
And for what it's worth, it's brand new material. Literally, they just launched it out last week. I haven't even gotten through it all, but they've made some major changes from the last format, which were really needed. So yeah, it'll be awesome. This will actually be the first time that the new format's being taught anywhere. So you'll be the first ones to see it.
That's awesome. So that's all I got. It's 2 days. So it's 9 to 12 the first day, 9 to 12 the second day, just to split up the content. Cool. So that's all I have. Vince, Karen, take it away.
I love it. That's awesome. Karen, do you want to announce anything, or do you want to? I know that this is kind of your first state of the company, so why don't you give a little bit of a background as to who you are and when you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because it said my mic wasn't working. So for those of you I haven't had the pleasure of speaking to, or actually speaking with even via Zoom, I'm Karen Sheffield. I'm the new team leader in Mount Pleasant, Charleston. Excited to be working with Vince and the entire team to make Keller Williams Charleston a force to be reckoned with. So I'm here. Let me know how I can help you. And I'm happy to offer advice and guidance. And as we get into the business planning and everything, I was a productivity coach prior to this and had been in a leadership role for a while at a different firm. So I get really excited this time of year because we all start thinking about our vision for the future and what we need to do or accomplish in our business to achieve that. So I brought all my vision board stuff with me. So if you are interested or would like to host one for yourself as an individual, we'll get a group together, or for your team, that's what we're utilizing the conference room for over the next 2 months. So just let me know.
I love it. We are happy to have you.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we'll get right into it. So the plan for today, we have an awesome panel. We've got Josh Stamps, Weston Nelson, Jessica Lucas, Jackie Hess, and Manny Casanova. And what we figured we could do was we can kind of go to each of you. I have 3 questions that I kind of wrote down, and Karen, feel free to throw in some questions as well. But let's just start with, and the individual that has the box around him right now happens to be Manny. So we can start with Manny. But Manny, tell us what were your ahas from your first mega camp?
So I actually wrote them down when they emailed. I'm going to pull it up right now so I can remember clearly. Yeah, so they gave us those action items. And I mean, my big aha kind of takeaways from the mega camp as a whole was pretty much, how do I stand out as a real estate agent? I feel like a lot of the course material that my track was on was, you know, how do you lead generate, how do you get a buyer, but also how do you stand out? And a lot of the agent interviews, they all talked about, you know, how it is competitive, obviously, but how they use Instagram and Facebook to grow their business and stand out and brand themselves. And so I thought, you know, everyone knows you have to brand yourself, but, you know, to hear stories of how they did it using Command as a tool, I thought stood out. And so I know that was my big takeaway from the experience. Obviously, it was my first mega camp, so there was a lot of information kind of thrown at you. And then the other one was being able to take information about the market and present it easily to people so they can understand it. I feel like it's easy to say, oh, it's a perfect time to sell. I feel the hard question is, where's the market 2 years from now? And I feel like a lot of people are afraid to answer that question because they don't want to be wrong. And I feel like if we can answer that question using facts and historical records like Gary Keller did, then we can probably say this is what's going to happen. We're 90% sure. So I feel like that was kind of a growing point is, you know, everyone wants to know, should I sell? But I think the bigger question is 2 years from now, you know, where's the market going to be? So those were 2 big takeaways.
Awesome. I love that. How about you, Jessica?
For me, I actually really so everyone knows that I go to these events to network. And so for me, I actually had to dive in and pay attention and go to the classes and do those things. So this was a really good year for me. I went into it with, what do I want from Mega Camp? And actually at 11 o'clock today, I threw on another one and was listening to it while I was doing some other stuff. And so a couple of my ahas I took were a few different systems that I took from top producing agents that are pulling in business like you wouldn't believe, that I was just like, wow, that's so simple. How did I not think to do that? And so I wrote those down. I started implementing those immediately, which I'm happy to share if those are more questions down the road. And then something else that I took was a big aha is we have this amazing database in Command, and we have all of our clients tagged like, you know, client, referral, agent, friend. But something that we really need to dial in is our VIP clients. We all know who our VIP clients are, and they really should have their own tags. And that was something I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I haven't went any further of like what I'm going to do with them yet. I'm working on that. As we know, I don't love to be like every other agent. I'm always trying to find ways to be different. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with the VIP just yet. But I have started going through there and be like, all right, these are my ride or die people, and they need to be tagged that. And the other aha I took from this morning's call with the Fortune is in the follow-up was, we're all super duper excited to put all these people on these drip campaigns and put them all in the 8x8 and put them in all these things. But you have to really focus in on how many you're actually putting your clients into, because next thing you know, they're going to be getting 2 and 3 emails from you a day, and they're going to be annoyed with you. So make sure that when you're putting them in all these campaigns, which it's a fantastic tool, but make sure you're also paying attention to that. And something that I didn't even think about was, which I should have, Adrian told me a while ago and I didn't, and I should have listened, but put yourself in those campaigns so you're getting the same stuff your clients are, and see if you're okay with the way that looks, that's going out to your sphere.
That's awesome. Those are great insights. I love it. How about you, Weston? What are some of your big takeaways?
Hi. So I mean, I got a lot out of this mega camp for sure. Some of my big takeaways from it, I would say, in one of the breakout sessions I was in, we had Stephen Cooley, who I think everyone knows of at least. And one of the big things that he said that really stuck with me was everyone over the age of 18 needs shelter. And we are in the shelter business. So essentially there is no such thing as a bad lead. It just depends when, so that was a huge aha for me for sure. And then also I pretty much followed the lead gen track the entire time. So a couple of really big things I got from that were, if you're not having fun with lead gen, then change it. There's no reason that you shouldn't be able to have fun doing it. So do something that you enjoy doing. And, different people will give you different numbers as far as how many sources, but generally it's somewhere between 2 to 5. Just narrow down the things you like to do and, find your 2 or 3 or however many lead gen sources and just really focus on those.
Those are awesome insights. Thank you. I love it. How about you, Jackie? What were some of your big ahas and takeaways?
So I took a lot away from Gary's market update. Mostly things that kind of reinforce the trends we've seen in our market, but to have the hard data behind them and things like that, I found extremely helpful, and definitely things I'll implement in listing and buyers presentations both. I think even uncovering motivation, because he emphasized the K-shaped recovery that we're currently in, and what our market is on fire still, and I think that has a lot to do obviously with the owner occupied, the portion of our market that is owner occupied, and how a lot of people in home buying income brackets are largely or have been largely unimpacted financially by the pandemic, whereas we see those lower income renters essentially hit harder. So I found that I love that he went in depth about that and comparing just the investment market versus the owner occupied market. Also the steps going forward, and what I highlighted like 40 times was, we want to take action for the market we're moving to and not the market that we are currently in. And because everything's so unprecedented, how long we're going to be in this, we don't know. And that has a lot to do with the vaccine. But he did a fantastic job, I think, outlining, here are steps, step 1, step 2. So I really liked that. And then just a few other things, adapting to the climate of buying and selling. There was another breakaway session, I think it was in generating and engaging leads. They said how you shop, how everyone shops. And that jumped out at me. It was like that is very, very true. I can't imagine buying a home without seeing it. However, I've had 5 or 6 clients that have had to do just that. So being able to really hone in on those skills that make that easier, that was my big focus going into Mega Camp, because we have to evolve and move. So
absolutely. Yeah, I love that. And if you haven't watched the Gary Keller market update or the Josh team update, I think those are on Connect, and I would definitely go and watch them, because the way, you're right, Jackie, the way that they broke out, the way Gary Keller broke out, how where unemployment is impacting, and it's a fascinating kind of discussion, and how he talked about the right side of that graph that he was showing, how that, if not fixed, can affect the left side of that graph. And it was really quite interesting. So I love that. Yeah, great ahas. And last but not least, Josh Stamps. This was your first Mega Camp as well. What were some of your takeaways?
Yeah, being new to KW, this was all new to me, especially the the virtual part because we're all going through that. I got a lot of small information tidbits from here and there. I always like to dig into top producers' minds, so I really like the panels that they had where the top producers told you some of the strategies, and I've already even started implementing some of that stuff. I'd say to piggyback off what Weston said, I really like the piece about the lead gen and doing it your way. What makes it comfortable for you, because we got a lot of different outlets generate and establish those relationships, and doing it in a manner that works for me was important versus just constantly drilling the phone, so forth and so on. Building that systemized process, and forgive me because I'm just learning these folks, I don't know names and who said what, but building that systematized lead process where you do the same, you have that 5, 6, 10, 12 step process when a lead comes in, and making sure you got everybody in your database on at least one smart plan. So if you're not hitting them on your own, that your system's doing the heavy lifting for you. I forgot the guy's name again, Jason, that did like the James Bond commercial. I don't know if anybody watched that panel, but thought that was super cool. So I started digging into that, doing some research, and have found out from other top producers that I've been able to get in front of that they're getting mega responses from video text messages and small video excerpts versus like your traditional text message or emails, or even adding a video to their email. They're getting 2 to 1 response rate. So I've started doing some of that stuff. And of course, a lot of y'all already know all this stuff, but tracking every single minuscule piece of data I can, whether it be calls, answers, contacts, appointments, contracts, fall throughs. I've just, ever since I've came over to the company, I've started tracking a lot more data. So, 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, 2 years into this, as my trajectory grows, I can drill in and say, okay, where do I need to hone my energy to, to keep it going?
Love that. Yeah, 100%. I love what you and Weston, those ahas around do what you like to do, right? If you're not doing what you like to do, you're not going to do it. Great ahas. I love it. The next question I'll throw to Manny. The next question I had was, look, we're in a goofy time and we're all sitting behind these screens. I thought KW did a phenomenal job of building a pretty cool digital experience, but wanted to get everybody's thought process around what did you like and dislike about the digital experience, and would you ever do it again? So what are your thoughts, Manny? And then how are you going to, I'm going to kind of change the question a little bit. How are you going to implement the digital experience into your business for your clients?
That's actually a really good question. I liked the digital event. I researched what Mega Camp was, and I saw, okay, this is a huge, convention, and this is a big deal. So I was, interested in how that was going to translate into a virtual platform. I thought everything was well done in terms of picking your agenda and being able to watch the videos. The fact that some of the times, some of the events were scheduled at the same time, you kind of had to go back and watch it. So if there was a feature where you can kind of flip between 2 panels, because sometimes people would talk and you're like, well, I don't really need to hear that. I can maybe watch this video for 10 minutes and get back to something else. So that was something I wish that they had, but that's kind of just being bougie a little bit. But how am I going to incorporate virtual into my business? And so I thought about that actually last night. And I think what would be cool, because not everyone wants to meet you to talk about selling their house. Some people aren't even sure. And, it's just like a big deal for them. So I thought a way is to have a kind of virtual, not open house, but there's a thunder. Kind of, I guess, like a Zoom. One of the panelists, they were talking about it where they had the whole presentation on the computer where the client can come in and toggle and see what's going on and move the presentation that you sent to them. And I thought that was pretty cool versus just going on Zoom and showing someone something and scrolling up and not really feeling engaged like you would in person. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I love that. How about you, Jessica? What did you think of the digital experience, and what did you not like the digital format? And then also, how are you incorporating the digital experience into your client experience?
So I thought it was well done. I thought they did a really good job. I really can't recommend any ways to change it. I mean, I thought something that was really awesome was when we were at family reunion, there was a lot of events I wanted to go into, but had you not been there, 30 minutes or earlier,
Yep.
it was at capacity. And so I think it's really cool. Like today I had an hour. So I threw on a mega camp of something I wanted to watch before it expires. And I think it's really cool that we can go back and watch those things, which we wouldn't have had that opportunity if it wasn't for the virtual world. I think it was well done. I sadly, obviously, miss our travels and miss the opportunity of networking. But given the world that we're in right now, I think it couldn't have been better. How am I incorporating it? So I get a lot of people moving to the area, and so they don't know anyone. And I know what it feels to be the new person. So I took this and I was like, maybe I could do like a virtual Zoom, like where we can hang out. Because I have a lot of clients that are very concerned with COVID. So I was like, well, this gets them a way to meet people. And long story short, I connected 2 people. They're like best friends now. And so I'm taking that and doing like virtual Zoom. I don't want to say happy hour, but hey, come together and hang out. So I'm pretty much taking all my clients and putting them together. And then also I'm doing a lot more listing presentations via Zoom, taking over screen and just going through my presentation. And my buyers walk through what to expect, holding your hand through the process, and doing everything digitally. I haven't been to someone's house to do those presentations in a long time.
Yeah, I love that. Great odds. Who do we got next? How about you, Weston? What are your thoughts?
So for the platform, I think especially, I think we forget about the time frame that they were under. I think they did a phenomenal job creating a digital platform. It was definitely a lot better than sitting, in front of 3 days worth of Zoom calls and things like that. I loved, being able to just star things and they automatically go on my agenda. And so I knew what I wanted to do out of, all of the things that were available. I mean, as far as things that I would change, like to make it better, the only thing that I really I feel like I used, but I didn't feel like I fully got the effect of it was the networking feature. So, I mean, I feel like that would be the only thing, that I would really would have changed or amped up about it.
How are you incorporating the digital experience into your business?
I'm starting to do a lot more video. Every time that I go with clients to a house or am just doing walkthroughs to see what's in the market, I'm making sure that I take video and I'm starting to either go live with those, because if I'm walking through it, I mean, may as well go ahead and show everyone else, on my social media what it looks like, and that usually gets a lot of people to interact. And also incorporating more video with email. That was a really exciting feature that they rolled out with Command, because I know that was a huge thing. A lot of people incorporate BombBomb, things like that. So to be able to have that in Command without having to pay for all of that, extra technology or pay another fee in general, I think that's huge. And, just really incorporating the features of Command more so into my business, I'm really excited about that.
I love that. Yeah, that is awesome. I saw something you talked about the Instagram. I think Josh Team and the Google and Facebook guys mentioned 800 million people watch Facebook Lives or Instagram Lives a day.
Every day.
Crazy. Yeah, that's crazy how many eyeballs are there, right? So incorporating that some way, shape, or form obviously is super important. How about you, Jackie? What are your thoughts on the digital experience? What do you like? What do you not like? And how are you incorporating digital into your world?
I think first and foremost, the one thing that you can't I'll start out with saying they did a great job, and I really like having everything at my disposal in front of me. And like others have said, being able to go back and reference that is great. You can't replicate the energy that you get at a large conference like this, or the hyper focus of being there and absorbing everything. However, I think it's been great to apply these things because I went to my first family reunion this year and I came back, and throughout my time there, I had a number of things that I was super thrilled to come back and implement. However, I wouldn't be home for 2 or 3 days attending to my business again. I've been able to apply things in real time here because after we'd log off from a breakout session, I'd go straight to a showing. And being able to apply things immediately, I think has been really great and helpful. I think that having, access to so much more and not having to fight to get into breakout sessions and things like that, I've absorbed more. Well, I didn't think it would be possible necessarily without the full experience, just because of attention span.
Yeah.
However, I do think I've taken in more tangible direction and things like that. So I was very pleased with it. Then in things that I'm then applying technology-wise, I do a lot of FaceTime showings, a lot. And I picked up a lot of neat tips and tricks to really maximize the client experience in doing that. Even emphasizing the difference between a virtual tour and a virtual showing. Because I'll speak with people on the phone, offering that sometimes, and they say, oh, that's okay, they have the 3D tour, they have the Matterport, which it's like night and day, being able to actually be there in the home. Hey, can you go back, take a look to the left, like what was that, versus that floor plan essentially. So they did speak to that in one of my breakout sessions, and I was able to immediately implement that stuff. And it is mostly just fine-tuning that craft. Some people still aren't comfortable. I have a lot of clients that still aren't comfortable with technology. We've had to make them email addresses so they can use DocuSign because they don't have, or they only have one for their family. So I think I've become a better teacher in terms of that. Whereas before I'd be like, click the button, create the account, and they're like, I don't know where the button is. So it is more directional and consultative, but all in all, it's just the reality of what we have to do.
Yeah, I love that. And it was fascinating. I love what you said about the being able to implement right away as compared to waiting 3 or 4 days to come home and then implement. And at that point, I mean, business is backed up and you're almost on to other things. So I love that point. You made some great ones. How about you, Josh? What did you think?
Obviously, being my first mega camp, I didn't have anything to compare it to for in person. I'm an in-person guy, so just to be brutally honest, I would much rather always be in person. So tried to get as much as I could out of it. It was super surprising to me in the panels how some of the huge performers were talking about 4-to-1, 5-to-1 of their business now is virtual. So that's obviously something I started to implement more and at least offer the clients that I have currently if they want to meet for Zoom calls. And going back to, and another way I've started implementing it is going back to the systemized process. And I really like the videos idea is how I think one guy had a live event that he recorded, but he leveraged it and he would keep using that same live event by replaying it as a live event. And so explanations I've been giving clients, like whether it be home inspections or what title insurance is, I've started recording, editing. I'm not good at it yet, but I'm getting there to small, short video excerpts. So if somebody asks me, what can I expect at the home inspection? I can just shoot them over, an automatic email with a video I've already recorded. I think one guy mentioned, which is cool because the virtual showings that I have done were kind of awkward and uncomfortable for me, again, because I'm an in-person guy. So I think one of the panel members mentioned bringing someone with you to the showing, whether it be your friend, your wife, husband, whoever it is, and doing the showing interview style like you would as if that client were there. So I'm going to start doing that. That way I'm just not walking around talking to a video camera. I'm actually talking to another person, trying to make the client feel a little bit more comfortable. And I think that's about it.
That's an awesome, those are great odds. Thank you. The last question I had, and then Karen, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in. last question I had was, what is the one thing from Mega Camp that you're implementing? Right? Because we always come back from these things and we've got pages and pages of notes. And I've always heard, somebody gave me the recommendation one time. They said, pick 3 things, no more, but pick 3 things and go implement them. But what's the one thing, say, Manny, that you're implementing right now as you come back from Mega Camp?
Here we go. I mean, the one thing for sure that I've been implementing hard is the branding on social media and really connecting with the Facebook analytics and the commands together, like making a business page and getting those insights and really making sure that the technology is together and everything's synced up, so that when I'm starting to pay for those leads, that that they're coming back and I've set up everything properly. So I'm going hard on the kind of getting out there, the branding, the video interviews, just like Josh has said. I feel like that's going to be the big powerful thing. It's not just posting, it's people being able to see you and hear you and talk to you and just recognize you as soon as you pop up on their screen. Oh yeah, that's the realtor guy, the realtor guy.
Awesome, that's great. How about you, Jessica?
Mine would be a system that I found. Please don't ask me who said it, because once I got bored with one, I just go to the next one. So I can't even tell you where I got any of this info. So with that being said, I'm implementing the 5-5-5, which, if you're not aware of what that is, it's 5 calls a day, 5 intentional Facebook posts. So meaning if your client got a puppy, oh, that's a really cute puppy, congratulations, guys. Not liking their post, but intentionally writing a comment so that they see you. And then 5 handwritten letters. That is something that I've let slack in my 6 years. And I wish that I would have got on that train a long time ago. But I'm getting back on it now and doing the 5-5-5. So I've already started. I have over 40 handwritten letters that are ready to go out. And it's not that bad. Like, if you just time block for it, and I use that as my lead gen time as well. So the 5-5-5.
Awesome. That's a good one. How about you, Weston?
So for me, there are a couple of things that I'm implementing. I remember actually, so you told me when I was in the middle of it, and I think you could see all the information like coming at me, and you were like, just pick 3 things. That's all you have to do. And so one of my big ones that I went in intentionally wanting to find out was systems. So I'm implementing systems as far as lead gen, and just really getting purposeful as far as time blocking lead gen, and figuring out those couple of areas that I really want to focus on, and then making sure I have the systems as far as what does my 36 touch look like, when I get a lead from online, what does where do they go? So implementing that is really what I've been working on.
Perfect. I love it. Who was next? Jackie, how about you?
So the one thing that I decided to work on is answering, or having a great answer to the question, why don't I get a discount? They mentioned, they had a lot of great pointers, but including really understanding the competition, Redfin, Zillow offers, things like that. Because if you understand how they work and you're able to articulate that to the whoever it is, buyer, seller, then it gives yourself an opportunity to outline what you do. Because I think there are a lot of things sometimes that we do habitually, or just because we know it's part of or in our job scope or in the transaction, that we don't necessarily mention. And so taking credit for what you do is very important when they're trying to decide if it's worth, or really your worth. And knowing or uncovering your value proposition is sometimes the easy part, but being able to articulate it in a way that clients are responsive to and understand without seeming like you're either bragging or saying your job is difficult. Just articulating it the right way, I think, would be really critical into having a great response for that and winning those listings and winning over those buyers.
Yeah, I love that. Those are great pieces to implement. I love it. How about you, Josh?
Okay, so I don't have one big takeaway, a couple of them. One reason I wanted to go to Mega Camp was the network. Obviously, that's a little harder with the virtual platform. So I took down everybody's name and number and planned to call them, take 4 hours with the 20 people or so I connected with, and racking my brain thinking, how can I add value for these folks so we can build a relationship and hopefully get some referrals going back and forth. And kind of a little aha hit me. Why don't I just send everybody a Zoom link and we all jump on one call? So I'm just not one-on-one networking with each agent, but all the other 19 or so can do it together. So I'll bring them with the other 19 people I have, and because I connected with 20 people. Obviously, like Weston said, my main goal here was to generate more business and learn how to generate more business. So your typical time blocking, and again, I can't stress it enough to make sure I have a systemized process and I'm leveraging Command to do some of my lifting for me when I, don't make the calls or emails directly.
Phenomenal. Yeah, that's awesome. Those are great. Karen, do you have any questions for the panelists before I open it up to anybody that was at Mega Camp?
So I have two questions, and I guess this is up to you guys if you want to just ask the panelists or open it up to anyone to participate. But I think it's kind of interesting because we're all at different levels and we relate to different people. If you could only watch one session, if you only had the opportunity to watch one session over for Mega Camp, what session would you recommend?
Definitely the script battle.
Okay.
That was my favorite, and I think we should implement it. And West Ashley should go against the Mount Pleasant. We should have rounds. We should have, our top 5 people each compete, right? And then within the office, we can all compete against each other and pick our 5 best, and our 5 best can go do battle against, make fun of it.
Love it.
I feel like they made Lean Gen so much fun, and it's kind of like, oh man, I wish I was smooth like that over the phone, and it's I think when you get your family doing it with you, it becomes so much easier to do that. So I think that was my favorite, and I think we should do that.
Great. Thank you. All right. Who do we have next?
I would say mine is Fortune is in the follow-up because we all, no matter what platform you use, if you do Facebook leads or from other sources, you get overwhelmed and those leads slip through the cracks, but those leads cost money.
Right.
And so I would say that was a good one for me because I feel like when I get busy, I let those slip through the cracks, and it was a good way to tell me to get my stuff together. And also they kept screaming, leverage your business, which is something I need. So I could relate really well to that one. So I would say that one.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's go next.
I'll go ahead. So I had 2, and Jessica just took one of them. So I'm glad that she mentioned that one because that was a really good one. The other one was, if you didn't catch the Tim Ferriss keynote,
Yep.
It was an amazing keynote. It was, he's obviously big on self-help. And so, I mean, one of the huge things, that I got away from that, one of the big ahas was he said, when are you going to do the work? Not if. When are you going to do it? So he was a big reminder that, we have to work on ourselves in order to be able to work on our business.
Exactly. All right. Jackie, Josh, who wants to go next?
I'd say still the market update. People want to know what's going on. They are more lost than ever in a lot of cases, and helping explain where we are now and where we might be headed depending on various factors is super helpful. I know I get the question a lot, like when will I get the best deal? Okay. Today, maybe. I know that's the right answer. However, having hard data, they've emphasized in so many sessions, become a data nerd. I think that's the key to staying in the know, and the market update really helps. And then we can apply it to our local Charleston market and make a bigger impact.
It's definitely something that we can carry with us on a daily basis or in an appointment to share with clients when they ask us. We don't have a crystal ball, so basically we can only rely on the facts and the numbers. That's awesome. That's always a good one. Who's left? Josh?
Yes, ma'am. Mine by far would have been the power interviews with the top performing agents. I've always enjoyed digging into the minds of the people that are where or have been to the place that I'm going. So that was important to me. And I try to take as much as I can, whether it be 1, 2, 10, 20 items from each person and see how, hey, how does that fit me and my vision and implement anything I can as quickly as possible.
Love it. Love it. That's one of my favorite parts every single time. And at this event, I'd kind of like to know if anybody else went to Mega Camp, if there's another session they'd recommend, because we've got people on here that might be trying to figure out what to watch next.
Yeah, or any ahas. I know, Blake, you had shot me a message. You mentioned that you wanted to make a comment about Mega Camp and your experience, so please open it up.
Thanks. This was my first Mega Camp as well, and I think I kind of had a lot of those same ahas that everyone else just mentioned, but I think the only one that I took away at the very last day from a group session was as a new agent, as a brand new agent here, I have all these awesome takeaways and ahas and big ideas written down, but these are kind of like later down the pipeline for me. And I kind of had, gosh, I can't remember who was the leader of the group, but his name was Dusty. Dusty said, like, I have to focus on the first domino. Because the first domino is the smallest one, and it starts a chain reaction and can knock over, the largest of dominoes at the end. So as a new agent, I need to kind of tuck these in my back pocket for right now and really focus on that first domino. So that's kind of been my mentality the past week was not focus on these big, amazing ideas that all those, really successful agents that were interviewed shared, because I'm not there yet. But to start that somewhere. So I've just been working on pushing that first little domino.
That's awesome. So how long have you been an agent, Blake?
I would say my first day with Keller Williams was September 1st. So,
welcome to the family.
Thank you.
And you're not brand new anymore.
I'm not brand.
Telling yourself that, right?
Yeah. Okay. True.
And if you want to know more about the dominoes, the One Thing book is an excellent Audible listen.
I've got it already in my Audible queue thanks to Dusty. So
yeah, absolutely. Definitely listen to that one. You could probably knock it out in a weekend and it'll help you kind of identify that domino. So thank you for sharing that.
Anybody else? Or any other questions before we wrap up?
I mean, I had a takeaway. There was a speaker, and we all kind of have our strengths and we have our weaknesses in the business. Some people don't like to lead generate, some people do, some people don't like whatever it is. But I think what stood out is, I'm not sure who the speaker was again, but he said, those 2 hours, whatever those things that you don't like to do, just do them, get them out of the way. And then the rest of the day, you're free to do whatever you want to do. And I was like, you know what, he's right. It's just the one thing you hate doing, do that first. Don't drag it off. Don't wait till later. Don't wait till, later on in the afternoon. Just get it done. Have that be your first thing. And you're free to do it. Your whole day's free. So I thought I got that takeaway.
Love it. Any others? Awesome. So now remember, next week, I think, Tiffany, it's Wednesday, right?
Wednesday.
Next Wednesday will be an awesome mastermind around how are we actually implementing some of the ahas that we heard today, some of the things that we took away from Mega Camp. So next Wednesday, check your email. I think Tiffany even put the information and all that good stuff in the chat. So make sure that you're there. Even if you weren't at Mega Camp, it's a great way to talk to your peers and mastermind with your peers about, hey, this is what you learned, this is what I learned. Let's implement, let's move forward, right? So a huge thank you to everybody, but especially our panelists. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day and sharing with the group and sharing with the KW family. It's been awesome. And Karen, any parting words?
My parting words are just that even when I wasn't able to attend an event, I would go to the mastermind after the event in the Market Center, and it was almost like the Cliff Notes version. So you got the nuggets, you got some good stuff. So please, please, please show up. If you have access to Mega Camp, go back and rewatch some of those sessions. I'm probably going to air some of them in the training room just for the benefit of the group. And let's crush this together.
Yeah, shout out to Krista and the team for having the Mega Camp conference and having them set up all that at the Market Center.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of people behind the scenes making that work. So huge thanks to all those individuals. All right, guys, this was awesome. Thank you again to the panelists. Thanks for everybody coming out. And let's go get it. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, happy Friday.